bought it, and I didn't know the country codes and this code and that. So when I typed in Melbourne, Australia, and I ended up in Melbourne, Florida.
Cheers. Yeah. Not too many people that have a tattoo shop have a hot tub in the back.
Well, I live here as well. So I got the shop on the main floor. I live in the basement, and then there's 2 apartments upstairs that I can either rent out, do Airbnb, or bring different guest artists in for.
You got a great spot upstairs for like guest artists too.
You know, it's awesome. We had a couple parties here, and like there's shows next door. So some of the bands will sometimes rent them out or whatever. I don't do it as much anymore because I have had issues with it in the past. Private studios, so you can have beer, hang out, and I mean, after hours, we're not tattooing and shit, but you can. It's a really wicked spot.
Well, you know what? Speaking of tattoos, a lot of people ask me very often, who does your tattoos, man? Like, who does your tattoos? It's this guy right here.
Yeah. Oh, not all of them, but I've done a bunch of them. Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, the best ones.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And it's stuff that I normally don't ever do. You call me up and you're like, hey, I've got a weird idea, and you don't do it. But what about doing this? I'll come by, we'll have a beer. Shit, all right. If you check out my actual work, it's all large color realism, and everything I've done on you is the exact opposite.
Yeah. You do a lot of horror, too. I can't believe, like, how much horror tattoos are like.
I think tattoos are monkey see, monkey do. There was a while where I did a ton of horror stuff. There was a ton when I was doing a ton of animal portraits. And it goes through this phase because you do some really cool tattoos.
You love that shit too.
It's like, oh, buddies. You go through a phase. So if I do a really wicked horror tattoo, all of a sudden I post that up, and now someone's like, oh, I saw that Jason or that Freddy Krueger you did. I want to do something similar.
Yeah.
So you do a whole ton of it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, my one buddy, he was getting, I forget what we did on him. Oh, it was a tool sleeve. So it was like all like
lateralis.
Yeah, stuff like really trippy sort of shit.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, the big eyeballs on the top, and then it went down to these other, I don't know, it was super cool. But he's like, and I really want you to do a portrait of my dog because I know how much you love doing animal portraits.
I don't love it.
Well, I said, I don't fucking love doing animal portraits. I think he goes, that's your specialty, isn't it?
Oh.
I'm like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, well, all I see is doing animal portraits. And I hate just copying a reference. It's always fun to be able to play with it and change it up and not have to just copy a photo or do whatever. Having those, artistic choices that you can make and your color choices or what you do with it or the background or all that kind of shit.
Yeah. I don't really do a lot of that. I honestly, I'm a Photoshop guy myself, so I would take a photo of myself and Photoshop the design on me and then be, okay, but I want it to look like I got my hand stuck on the barbecue grill. And then I pried it off and that was what was left.
Yeah, it's geometric sort of stuff. And it's nice to change up what you're doing. And it's nice to fucking just hang out with a buddy, have a beer and do some cool tattoos.
Yeah.
And have fun.
I have like an idea, a very, very simple idea where you don't need a printer.
Yeah.
And I like your ear tattoo. I'm going to get my ear tattoo. Just a line, I think.
Just the line right across?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
As long as we can get it straight.
So, Venus is tattooing right now, but I'll have to wait till she's done because I don't even have a machine to tattoo you right now.
So, Airbnbs are a great idea until they bite you in the ass and someone breaks into your tattoo shop and robs you.
I've lost more money on Airbnb than I've made from through things being trashed, stolen, and now the shop being broken into.
So you're in bed. He lives here. He lives in the basement. He's in bed. You hear a commotion.
Venus was gone, one of the tattoo artists that lives here, and she's been staying upstairs. Rev, who used to rent the apartment, he's got a new job in Oakville. So they've both been staying here, Venus more consistently, but Rev off and on. So I hear people go up and down the stairs all the time and don't think about it.
Yeah.
So when I heard the stuff at 5 a.m. or whatever, well, actually, from the first person that checked it out at 1 o'clock, I heard someone go up the stairs. And I thought, okay, well, Rev came over.
Yeah.
And then that was gone, not think twice about it. And then at 5:15, someone actually came inside the shop. And that's when I'm laying there and I'm like, okay, Venus dropping stuff off. But then the noise and everything, like something just didn't make sense. So I just put on pants and flip-flops and went up. And I realized that, no, my shop was actually getting broken into. Chased them out and had all the chaos in the middle of the street. And it was...
The mind-boggling thing about this is this all boils down to an Airbnb scam.
Yeah. So it's a new one. I've had people rent it for like 5 days, stay there 3 days, and they'll come up saying like, it's not what we thought, so they'll try and cancel it and get money back. But what I never thought was the simplest scam in the world. You want to break into somewhere and you don't want to go smashing a door and you don't want to smash a window. What they did was, it was a fake credit card. They booked the Airbnb. I thought it was something sketchy about it, so I was going to cancel it. 10 minutes later, they cancel it. Well, what that did gave them an all-access pass to every photo I've gotten there. What's in there, if someone's going to be there, if you have to sign in, if they've got security, if there's an alarm, how to get the key to walk in the front door. And literally a full blueprint on how to break into this place. And then all you do is go, and I've got all the information, the photos, everything. Well, you know, I'm going to try and book it today. Oh, it says it's rented out. So that means someone's there. Okay, I'll book it tomorrow. It's vacant.
No one's
there's
there.
No one there. I was sleeping downstairs, and they weren't expecting me and my dog to come running up within 4 minutes of them being inside the shop. It was
enough time for them to get some stuff, though.
Yeah, it's about 10 or 15 grand worth of stuff.
You're falling on hard times, man, and if you're gonna get tattooed, come out to Born from Blood, help this brother out, because
I appreciate that, and I've got a lot of stuff going on with selling the building.
The LRT's coming through here.
Yeah, the building's going to be going up for expropriation.
Well, you could be like a tattoo gypsy, right?
I cannot wait to have money in the bank, nowhere to live or be, which sounds like I will be homeless and jobless, but there's hotels, there's Airbnbs, there's friends. And not only that, I know enough people in the industry that there's not a place in the world that I can't go tattoo at or work at a shop.
Get back to Thailand, man. You were in Thailand for a while.
I'm looking at not just Thailand. There's the lifestyle down there, how just the culture, everything about it. I was looking at nice condos for $260. I was getting a place the size of your place, beachfront with a balcony looking at the beach for $260 a month.
What are we doing here?
Trust me, this is why I've already had that process of trying to figure out. I mean, if you go down there and work, if you work remotely or from your computer or whatever, sure, you can make some money. But if you're thinking you're going to go down there with nothing and rent this stuff, you're going to be working for, next to nothing that day. But if you can go down there with some money, you can live, like an absolute king.
Yeah.
And
those condos, I think those condos in Bangkok, luxury, man. I mean, I had a good time in Thailand. Thailand's a good time. I was only in Bangkok and honestly only on pretty much Koh San Road. You only have like 3 or 4 days before we would head out.
The first time I went to Bangkok, it's a big city. It's a Toronto. I was like, whatever, big city. When I went back the next time and I did Koh San Road the first time and didn't do much else. When I went the second time, I was actually there for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
I love the beach. I love down in Phuket. I love Krabi. That would be more where I go, but Bangkok is its own monster.
Yeah.
Whatever you enjoy, whatever you like, it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
You like eating the scorpions and seeing ping pong shows? Go to Bangkok.
You want to do the tourist thing, whatever, it's there. I mean,
because the ping pong shows here in Hamilton are lackluster.
I've never been to a ping pong show here.
No? In Hamilton? You don't know.
I didn't even think they had them.
They don't. God damn.
I was like, what?
You know what? It's crazy, but I've never been to Europe.
Neither have I.
No?
That's next on my list, too.
Yeah.
And that's where, when I say this homeless gypsy thing, I mean, I'm so pumped because there's so many places. I've got so many friends over there from when I lived in Australia back in, when I was 20. So 2 years ago, 22 years ago, you were talking about Vietnam.
Yeah. I strive to just achieve the most freedom I can possibly manage.
I've never done that until now. And now I'm like...
Both are never, I want freedom. Ultimate freedom, that's the goal. There's a great YouTube channel called Vagrant Holiday. This dude, you never see what he looks like. He just goes to Europe with like less than what you're talking about, a smaller bag, and he sleeps in the stairwells of hotels, and he'll just sleep in the bushes. And I think there's something pretty awesome about
it's amazing. But I've got more money than I've ever had, and I am the most miserable I've ever been trying to deal with this shit and worry, am I getting paid out so I can go and travel and do this and do that? Whereas, man, when I was 21, I'd be like, cool, I got $2,000 and I'd spend $1,000 on a ticket and go somewhere for 3-4 weeks and make it work with $1,000 or $500. Dude, when I showed up in Australia at 21, I had $1,400 left in the bank after I bought the wrong flight and everything else, and I was there for a year.
Wrong flight.
Yeah.
Well, you're 21. Back then, we were a bunch of idiots.
It was, I just bought, the internet was new, so buying flights online, normally you'd have to go to a travel agent.
A travel agent.
So I bought it, and I didn't know the country codes and this code and that, so when I typed in Melbourne, Australia, flights for Melbourne came up, and I bought the cheapest one at the time, 20-something years ago, $890-something bucks, almost 900, and I ended up in Melbourne, Florida. That's a fact.
God.
I was in Vancouver.
So when did you realize?
I went to Vancouver 3 weeks, and then I ended up flying. I was on a milk run. I did 4 different flights, and I ended up in Melbourne, Florida, about an hour and a half flight from where I live. And I had all this money put aside, almost 10 grand to go down there. When I was in Vancouver, I think I spent about 6 grand. Then I ended up in Melbourne, Florida. I had to hitchhike to Orlando, and then I had to spend $1,800 or $1,900 on a flight from Orlando to Melbourne, and so I showed up with just under $2,000 in my pocket to live in Australia for a year. I don't even say that because it's nice out. That Denny was calling me you want to go for a ride? Yeah.
Yeah. Where's your bike? Is it?
No, it's at my buddy's house, Denny's. So I was in the garage for the winter, and every nice day I've been working, and every shitty day I've gone off, there's no point.
Let me ask you this. Is your bike excessively loud?
Louder than the ones that went past.
And
not by choice.
Come on.
It wasn't.
No?
My last...
Because it's honestly, it's subtly a pet peeve of mine. Because it's deafening sometimes. Those things are fucking deafening.
It's a 50-50. I didn't want a loud bike. It was... I love blaring my music. I've got the Road Glide. When I got it, it had the dual exhaust. It was loud, but it wasn't excessive. When I did the modifications to it and the rear bags, the big sweeping back end and stuff I did that the first year I bought it. And so Harley didn't even have aftermarket stuff for that. So I could only buy one that had a side mount exhaust.
Yeah.
So I had to put it on, which was not what I was going for.
Twice as loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scaring babies and people on the street.
That part I like. That's always fun.
Well, that is fun.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good time.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do that.
I like whisper quiet vehicles. I like electric vehicles. Ultimately, it boils down to the autopilot. I want to just not have to focus on driving. And honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of Roadhead. So that's got to be the next level. That's the next level of that. You know what I mean?
Pretty sure maybe the cars will do that for you, too. Didn't think about that one, did you?
No, I mean, that'll be an add-on. All right.
Is that it?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Got enough on there?
That's it. Yeah, I think so. Unless you can think of something else.
I'm just talking about general stuff. We kind of went all over the place.
Yeah, we went all over the place. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.